Alrighty, we are now live in 3, 2, 1, and we are off. Yo, hello and welcome to the live Q&A with Vitruvian Health. Myself, Karl McKenna. I will be your host, your question reader, your answer giver. So let's do a little bit of a polywaffle for a little bit. So for those tuning in, welcome. Or if you're replaying it, hopefully you like it. Give us a thumbs up. If you're like, I have a question that you didn't answer, post it below. Email us at info@vitruvianhealth.com.au and we will get back to you. Actually, anything and anything. Those on Facebook, I do apologize. It literally is like, instead of like system order, it's like on the questions. So in the comments below, you can read them. Or in the notes section, you can read it, and it's a bit like meh. On the YouTube, we get a timestamp, so it'll all be like boop, boop, boop. So if you're like, I don't really care about those first 5 questions, you can literally just go and straight ahead. So pretty exciting stuff. This is another question. I've just was up at 5. Was meant to be on a break, but Kate had a lot of work, so we decided to stay back for a day. So I was like, right, well, we get to train at 5:30 in the morning, so I can get onto this 7 a.m. Q&A at 7:45. Hello, welcome, number 1 person on. So why did that happen? I have no idea. Technology is fun. The connection wasn't great. So here we are now. But went and trained, hip, not 100% happy. So we did a lot of like calf raise. I'm doing calf raises every workout now, 3 to 4 sets. Close to failure, just to really open up the calf. If you've ever touched my calves, you'll be like, those are super tight. So I'm literally working them every day I train to really free up those calves. So I do that for about 20 reps. Found it really hard today, but train a Haymarket anytime. They have a standing calf raise machine, so obviously it was loaded, so it was fun. And then did a little of single leg work. So that means I don't lift as heavy in a way. So, if I'm leg pressing 400 or 500 kilos, I'm now leg pressing about 150 to 200 instead. Means less racking and unracking weights, which is great. And then straight over single leg hamstring curl gives me a little more control of the hips. So if you're dealing with niggles restrictions, or you're like wondering about structural balance, then do unilateral based programming. It's quite good. Could be more on time efficiency there, but it's a good way to just get it in, get it out, and decrease the load. So if you're getting performance anxiety because you're too strong now, which can happen to all of us when we do the same thing every time, we'll hit a point where we just can't progress anymore, and that's when unilateral is quite good. So left leg then right leg, or right then left. Alrighty, well, let's dive into this Q&A. So full disclaimer, all information from Vitruvian Health with regards to training, nutrition, therapy, lifestyle is all for educational purposes only. It is not meant to diagnose or treat any health conditions, and is not a replacement for treatment by healthcare providers. If you have any concerns, please consult with your local GP. Or if you're like, Carl, do you know any dentists? For teeth, talk to Michael Kai. If you're wondering about chiropractic massage, talk to Amy Mason. And doctors, your local GP. So there's a few doctors for you. One of the mouth and one of the spine. Anything to do with training, then you can definitely come talk to me and the team. So without further ado, to the Q&A. So I will first dive into the telephono questions. So these ones are not the posted ones. They're the bonuses. We come with the bonuses first because it's more exciting. Number 1 is training calves. I just talked about it. It's important. Well, your calf is what dictates your movement. So your whole foot. So the thing is, if the muscles around your foot and the calf and the backside are weak, well, then the rest of you is weak, because that's what helps you get from A to B. So it's always fun when people have tiny chicken legs and big upper bodies. They've probably been robbed by a chicken or an ostrich, so there's something out there with big legs. But, genetically, you could have naturally just smaller legs, and you have an abundance of upper body. Awesome, great genetics. Thanks, mum and dad. But it does mean you should still not skip leg day. So strengthening the muscles of the legs and the feet is something that I recommend for all. So if you're wondering how to test and assess what your strength is at, well, think of it this way. You should do calf raises, toes in, boom, boom, up and down, pause, down, touch. Don't just drop to the floor. Push up and down, push up and down. Then turn your toes out, so you'll get a little more squeeze of the glutes. Awesome. Up and down, 60 reps, and then toes in, pushing the little toes for another 60. So you should be able to do 180 reps, 3 sets. That is what we used to do for a gymnastics warm-up for the splits. If you can't do it, guess what? You have weak calves, which naturally lead to compensation. So you got to work through that. Because the average person does about 6,000 to 8,000 steps a day. So if you are struggling to do 180 reps, that's 180 steps through full range. So what will happen is when you push your big toe, you'll probably collapse and roll into it, cause that bunion, nice little bone to stick out. So strengthen your calves and you'll be good as gold. Next, we have myths. So what are myths? They are things that are made up. For example, if you don't leave the gym dripping in sweat, you haven't done a good workout. Well, genetically, you might not sweat, so that's redundant. So someone's asked me to obviously answer these, which obviously you haven't. I just saw it and took a photo. Yeah, a lot of people will be like, oh, I get asked this all the time. I had a good laugh with Kate because it's like, there's so many people who say, I talk with hundreds of business owners every day. It's like, you have clients who work in a business and you talk to them. Doesn't mean you talk to business owners. You talk to people that are high-performing individuals and career focused. There's nothing wrong with that. But I love that a lot of people talk about how they have lots of businesses, but it's like, technically I just helped, the financial litigator of JP Morgan. Therefore I've helped JP Morgan, or therefore I've done this. So it's funny, I just said the same thing. It's like, these are questions. It's like, these are questions I've seen on this, and I'm like, I'm going to answer these as questions. But the comical part is 9 times out of 10, most people don't get asked by hundreds of people. They just see it and they go, I'm going to do that. So yeah, there's a myth for you. Debunked. Boom. Just a photo. So anyway, let's go on to the next one, which is no pain, no gain. So that was a bit of polywog for people. No pain, no gain is a myth. It isn't. It isn't. Like, in the moment when training close to failure, you will feel discomfort, which is like in your muscle. Let's say you've got a ratio of oxygen and then like there's lactic acid and they're like, it's lactic burn. What happens is you start to contract the muscle, you use up that oxygen. The ratio percentage of lactic acid is now higher. You're not producing more, it's higher. But the thing is, the body over time through breathing will change that. And when you're contracting a muscle, you cause mitochondrial fatigue. Think of it as you're contracting a muscle super hard, you like lock that muscle and you're training it. And either side, your body's wanting to pump blood into it. So you get this pressure build up. Like a fire, you shut the door, if you open it, blows up. So that's where you get that pump. Boom, let it go. You stop your set because you failed, because you can't do anymore. Boom, flooded with blood. So in that moment, there's a bit of pain, but I just call that discomfort. Comfort's at home with a beer in your hand. So like there's a give and take to that. Just obviously, what's the context? But like you shouldn't be debilitated and in absolute pain. Some people like it, but the thing that I don't agree with it is that no pain, no gain is in the sense of if you are in pain the next day, like, I can't move. Okay, well, you need to train the next day because your goal is to train 5 times a week. You've now affected training performance, and that's when the no pain, no gain is a problem, because if you were to progress weight 1 kilo at a time, week to week, month to month, you put on 52 kilos on the bar, I guarantee you that muscle is going to get stronger and bigger. Unless, your max is 100 and you start at 1 kilo. You call me and you go, well, Carl, you said I would gain muscle. I'm looking at you, James, because he's really good at calling me out, which is great. So obviously, if you're working close to failure, of course, definitely, if you progress over time, you would build some muscle and strength, because a bigger muscle generates more force. So yeah, if you're in pain, that affects performance. You're not going to be able to push yourself to that point. So therefore, you're actually going to probably plateau because you're always in pain, and affects performance, because it can affect range of motion by 10, 15%, give or take. So if that's happening, then you're at a higher risk to injury. So that's not the idea. This is why we always ask our clients, like, how did you pull up? You saw like a bit of soreness, like delayed onset muscle soreness, that discomfort. Like if you get up, you start walking and you're like, I feel better now. Cool. You've got delayed onset muscle soreness. That's just trauma to the muscle. But if you're like, oh my God, what a great leg workout. No, in my opinion. Lifting weights makes you bulky. So does eating an abundance of food. So, I just do that all day. I get pretty bulky. Gluten-free hot cross bun. I drink more water. That'll make me bulkier. So, yeah. Interesting fact, the biggest, most muscular people, or the bulkiest people on the planet, are sumo wrestlers, because they have a lot more fat, but they also, because of that, they actually require more muscle to carry that body around. So lifting weights does not make you bulky. Eating in abundance will make you bulkier. What will happen a lot of the time, and there's this great photo, shout out to Amy Thompson, like head coach at Body Recon. She's this fantastic photo. Like, she's training, she's vascular, got massive, like, she's got a great pump. And then she did a photo of her in her dress. You know, she hasn't trained up for 12 hours. The blood is no longer so much in the muscle, so it dissipates. So all that definition kind of disperses. She looks fucking amazing. And it's a great comparison of what people look like when they train versus what they look like when they're going out, don't have that pump. So, you know, if being bulky, lifting weights, you know, causing a contraction of the muscle to hold and get pumped full of blood, well, yeah, if you run, your calves are getting bulky. So again, context. So no, lifting weights won't make you bulky unless you're eating in a surplus and your goal is to get bulky. But if you're looking to dial in the body comp, and you just manage your calories and food intake. Longer workouts are more beneficial. Yes and no. Soreness is essential for muscle growth. Yes and no. One lady I work with, her partner's always got a sore chest. Doing 20 sets in chest can lead to some muscle soreness. But when she does it, she doesn't feel it. So she doesn't, genetically, she probably just doesn't get like as much muscle damage in her chest. Like for me, I shout out to Michael Pritchard, who we were going to train legs. No, let's train biceps and let's like mess Carl up. I think we did 6, pyramid 2, maybe do like 20 sets of biceps. I normally don't get sore in biceps. He was a bit sore. My bicep, I felt a little bit. I'm like, I did a lot, like it really hurt in the moment. But then after the workout, I'm like, my biceps, I feel like they've hurt a little bit, but Now, if I did triceps, I'd be in agony for like 4 or 5 days. Like I did 6 sets triceps, like putting in through that stretch, press work, so probably about 10 sets in triceps. I can feel my triceps like tender, bicep nothing. Yeah, everyone has their number. So, yes. Moving on to the next one. Do you need to create stability during barbell squats? Yes, you do. A more stable base of support will improve your body's ability to lift heavier. It'll be tighter. It also gives more awareness to what's going on. So if you have that, oh crap, that's heavy, it's probably maybe, one, it's probably heavy, but if you're starting to wonder if you're going to get up, maybe there's something underlying in your body. Ductors aren't firing, core isn't like tight enough. Maybe it's a weak link. So putting a belt on straight away is not the answer. But just looking at, ask yourself, why is that happening? And again, performance anxiety is a thing. So, you know, have spotters, people support you. And if that corrects it, it's like, cool. It's just in your head. Creating stability and tightness around a joint so it can work through its full range. If it's strong and tight, all the muscles are working synergistically together. So therefore, you're going to be more stable and stronger when lifting. So 100% you should work on getting stable because that's going to make you stronger. And really, when the outcome is there are 3 functions when it comes to lifting. You, you lift it, you don't, and you injure yourself. So if you're nice and stable, you kind of remove that 3rd one because you're in total control. You know, the fundamentals to building strength on hypertrophy is progressive overload over time, controlled full range of motion, and no pain. So how do you manage pain? You need to be in full control. And to do that, you need to be stable and aware of the whole movement. So stability is very important for doing that. All right, that's the telephono messages done. Yep, other photos are just business stuff, which is cool. So now let's move into the questions that are in this YouTube. So if you've scrolled and gone from 14 minutes to now here, welcome to the questions that are in the comments of the video. So question number 1, what are some effective ways to increase my stamina? 1, continue to repeat the task that you're wanting to improve your stamina in. So if you find walking upstairs, keep doing it, you'll get better at it. The body's really amazing and it becomes really efficient. So like if you're doing 16,000 steps, and it's quite hard. So for example, I got Vivo shoes a month ago, and like doing 3,000 steps. Oh, my feet are in agony because it's literally like I'm walking barefoot. Absolute agony. Just my calves, my feet. Oh, like I remember the first week, Kate and I picked Kate up from work. So it's about 3,000 steps to Kate at her work. And I'm like, oh, that was brutal. I'm like, crap, I got to walk back home. Oh, shit. I'm like, can we get the tram? Kate's like, I get my steps. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Okay. We walk. We get to the IGA, which takes like 600 steps. I'm like, can we sit down? Sit down for a bit. Feet are rested. Okay, let's go. We walk to Hyde Park. She starts to feel her feet a bit as well, which is great. We sit down at the park in front of the water fountain, which is really nice, like nice scenic place. We chat for about 10 minutes. Okay, now let's walk home. So yeah, I had to take rests and breaks, but now fast forward the month, walk back and forth. Great. So yeah, and interesting enough, talking about calf strength, I've started to blister on my big toe because the calf doesn't have enough strength to push through the big toe and drive you forward. That's chocolate, by the way, in case anyone's wondering. It's not what you maybe think of. It's like, is that poo? No, it is chocolate, just to be clear. And delicious because I have a hot chocolate croissant. This is like for a lot of people that bunion. So got to really focus on pushing through that big toe. So yeah, to improve stamina, build consistency, routine. Now, next one is how can I improve my balance and coordination? A real easy one. First thing in the morning when you start brushing teeth, balance on one leg. Push through the big toe, the little toe, and through your heel, so the tripod of your foot, so the whole foot's pushing into the ground. Elongate yourself. Lift your knee up to 9 degrees. That's a little bit of subtle movement to cause that. But coordination and balance is literally the same thing as strength training. It's just that you lack strength in a certain movement. So, for example, a lot of people just start running. So they go from nothing to run. It's like, okay, that's a lot of force in the body. But if you wanted to get stronger, start walking, say, 30 minutes a day. Then what you do is you go on a treadmill or walk up a hill. So it strengthens that, and stretches the calf and the gastroc. Then from there, go a higher incline. And then from there, slowly jog. Then you start to jog a little bit faster. And so in that 30-minute window, you just keep progressing week to week, month to month, rather than just run. And then when you start to get to a point where you can jog at about, say, 10, 12 kilometers an hour, what I would do is alternate between like a slow one, run, 8, 10 kilometers an hour, but go for more time. And then that 30-minute window, you could do like intervals, like push 13, 14 kilometers an hour and build the speed up. Same thing with balance and coordination, same approach. Start balancing on one foot, alternate. Then you can stand. You can get like rock mats. So if you live in the city, you could also get a little ball, balance board, trampoline. Balance on that. You could just go for a walk in nature. You can balance on sticks because it just changes the shape of the foot, so you're working in. Because the foot is like a hand. It doesn't just grab, like we don't just grab pens all the time. Like we grab bottles, thicker, wider. And we have different positions that we grab stuff, books, phones. So we need that ability to move. And a lot of the time we don't. A lot of people have lost that function because we wear really padded shoes. So yeah, treat your feet like you would anything and strengthen it. Alrighty, Roo. So the next one we have is, what are some good exercises for strengthening my core? Well, actually, refer back to the one before and do simple like balance work. Resistance training, definitely a good one to go to, like building strength through your body, lifting heavier weights. That'll definitely teach you to brace more. Hover holds on a ball. I like to train core through partner-based workouts. Just hold a hover, it's great, but you're not teaching yourself to brace different positions. So I get someone to push people from the head, from the shoulder, because the core is your abs, your glutes, your back. So like the whole thing that supports the spine. So train it dynamically. Don't do crunches. Like a lot of people do that, but the thing is, like, if you grab onto a bar and you hang, you should probably bring your knees up to your face. Not many people can do that. So like you have a strong crunch, but your core is just weak. So, you know, well, another way to think of it is like, what are you training your core for? To be dynamic, to be functional. Like, at what time in life, if a car was going to hit you, does life go, hey, Carl, just so you know, it's 8:06 and at 8:16 when you leave, you're going to get hit by a car. Oh, cool. Yeah, great. I'm going to prime this. It's 8:15. I stand on the road and I go, wait. All right, bring it. No, so you need to be able to on off. So resistance training, increasing load, dynamic movements is definitely going to be really good for you. But I wouldn't place a large focus on it if the goal is to build strength or build muscle. Like doing your exercises, unilateral, bilateral is definitely going to work that as well. Cool. Next one. What are the best ways to recover after a workout? Post-workout. So if you've got body comp something like that, post-workout's good. Great. Finding reasons to eat in this video. I'm loving it. Source of protein, carbohydrates for your performance, so they help with recovery. Sleeping 7 to 9 hours a day. Gentle movement. Nighttime. I want to do 45 minutes, but I do about 10 to 20 minutes of light mobility work. I'm stretching out forearms, wrists, hips, areas that are niggles. I use an acupuncture mat to just help like relax me faster, and I take reishi. The thing is, like, you could take reishi, like I take magnesium, reishi, prebiotic. I take Triganda from Designs for Health. Stock all this. I use a lot of mag to help my body because I like to go hard. Do more than 8 hours of work a day. Love what I do. So obviously, I see acupuncturist who's like, "You got a lot going on." I'm like, yes, I know. So I take herbs. So I take a lot of sups just to help the body. I've got acupuncturist, a doctor, a manual therapist, a chiro that I work with. So I got a team of people that help. So best way to recovery, sleep 7 to 9 hours. Get on top of that. If you're interested, check out our sleep seminar. We talked all through the things to capitalize on sleep. Sleep is the number one underrated thing that most people don't do. They're like, oh, do I take this up? Do I do that? It's like, just sleep. Holy crap. But then you can use supplements or like blue light glasses, use tools or supplements to help your body get into a state of physical rest to capitalize on sleep. Most people think, take this up, places the sleep. No, get the sleep, and do what you need to get that sleep and build that routine. So number one is just focus on the sleep. Everything is a tool to assist you. But post-workout, definitely, do 50 grams serve of carbohydrates, 20 grams of protein, easy to digest, and go from there. Light mobility at the end of the day, and just finding things that work for you. You might go, Carl, that rock mat is a terrible idea. I hate it. Cool, it's not for you. But find what's going to help you recover. You can do ice baths, saunas. That thing right there, that is a infrared lying sauna. Use it 3 times a week. Shout out to Georgie. He has his own infrared sauna and does it daily after his workout, which is awesome. Magnesium baths, do that twice a week. Hot showers, alternating between hot and cold, that can regulate blood flow as well. So yeah, those are some good tools. So number one, sleep, food, and then things that you enjoy. Sex also helps. Not the way I do it, Carl. Oh, okay, probably don't do it that way then. How can I set realistic fitness goals for myself? Hard to say when I don't know what your goal is, but the model that we use is be specific as possible. So anything is possible. Is it measurable? Yes or no? Okay, how are you going to measure it? 1 to 3 things. Is it achievable? That's when you start to ask yourself, can I lose 10 kilos in a week? Well, specific, yes, I can. Is it measurable? Totally, from 0 to 10. Okay, is that achievable in 1 week? No. Okay. Now you start to be, is it realistic, which is the R. Because you can be, it's totally achievable. Okay, well, now is it realistic in the restraint of time that you have? Well, if I stopped eating and I cut my leg off, I could lose the weight. Am I willing to do that? No. Okay. So the process you've got here, just need to change that a little bit. Okay, cool. Is it achievable? It's totally achievable. Is it realistic? It is realistic. However, the timeline of 1 week, probably not. Well, if I lost 250 to 500 grams, so 500 grams of weight, that would take me 20 weeks. Okay, cool. I'll set myself for 20 weeks. Done. It's realistic. That's how you can be realistic with the goal. And sometimes, if it took you 2 years to get where you are, it's probably going to take 2 years to get back if you do it on your own. If you hire an expert, then if they tell you they can fix it, they're selling snake oil. Like, you can fix back pain and everything, but you need to, at the end of the day, you need to be the one that takes the choice and the actions. So after you've done your goals, then you just ask yourself, what's one habit you can start today that's going to have an impact? Like, for me, I always have to remind myself, like, top 3 things. Delegate, work on 3 things only per week, and take 10 deep breaths. Like, I actually have to. 10 deep breaths. It's harder than you think. And thank you for your thumbs up. Next one. So I hope that helps. How can I improve my flexibility and range of motion? Get strong. Strength is the ability to control full range of motion. So it's not always about lifting heavier. It's sometimes changing the movement. So if you train your joints through full range, so like weighted arm circles. My whole model of Vitruvian Health is based around getting people stronger through ranges of motion. And as long as there's no pain. You can also get nice massages. You could, again, I'm just going to keep name dropping Amy Mason because she sees like half the clients of Vitruvian. But like, finding any health professional who can work on managing postural fatigue. So like, actually, I'll say it this way. Number 1, learn to breathe properly. If you breathe, your breathing is off. You're in a sympathetic, like a stress state, and your body is in a stress state. So you're using your traps to pull on your diaphragm to help you breathe. You're getting 1/3 of the breath. That does not cause thoracic extension. So this. So you're naturally going to be compromised in your mobility. Now, if you can learn to breathe to get your diaphragm, your stomach, you'll actually feel your upper back opening up. So if the average person breathes 14 times in a minute, 14 times 60, you breathe 840 times in the hour, times that by 24, you breathe 20,160 times per day. You want to really fix that. There's nothing you can do or someone you can go to overcome that breathing obstacle. Like, teach yourself how to breathe better, and or just take time to 10 deep breaths, like to the point you feel everything stretch. That will do more for you than, in my opinion, any health professional. Now, however, Carl, if you were to then say, but if you saw a health professional, osteophysio, chiro, then they could help you. So like, this is why I recommend Amy, because she does diaphragm release for me, which is awesome. So then my diaphragm can actually expand more. I can get more breath, and therefore I can do more of it sooner. So I can help my body faster in recovery as well. So the thing is, if it's too hard for you, just start there. But that's where the health professionals help to accelerate the space of time so you can get there sooner, so you can capitalize on that more. We'll also put you in a better position for demands. So without knowing the exercise that you talk about, 1, big deep breaths, find a health professional to work with, and then focus on strength training through full range of motion. Gymnastics bodies is quite good, but doing weighted mobility exercises like Jefferson curls, split squats, the splits, weighted circles, hangs are really great for opening up the body, but also strengthening that space. What are the benefits of strength training? Be stronger, more mobile, decrease risk of injury. Plus, it's hot. Like, no, it's hot, but like sexy to lift heavy weights and like confident. Like, I love training females personally. Like, males are great, but there's nothing better than seeing a woman outlift a guy who thinks he's better than her. Oh, love it. Like, my funniest story, best story was long ago, like when Kate was deadlifting 120, 3 reps. I was having this conversation with this girl in the gym. We were just like flirting a little bit. She was telling me how, as people chat and, one chats to the other. She's only human, of course. But now she's telling me like, I can deadlift 40 and was like really confident about it. And I go, huh. She's like, excuse me? I go, come here. Walk down the stairs. There's this girl on the other side of the gym, sweating. Go, Gonzo! Huh? Runs over, sweating. And I go, give her a kiss. And then I go, she's like, what do you want? I'm like, I just, she's like, oh, well, I'm going to go back to deadlifting. I'm like, okay. And I look at the other person. I go, that is being strong. 40, that's a warm-up. So if you could do that, maybe you have a chance, but no. And then walked away. So yeah, I love seeing people lift, guys, girls, anyone that can lift more than their body weight. It's great because it's just empowering, being able to lift your own body weight. It means you've got good stability, strength, awareness of your body. It's just all of it rings bells. So yes, next question. How much protein do I need to consume to build muscle? Minimum, I believe, is 1.6, 1.4. We typically recommend people do 2 times their body weight. Reason for that is because it's easy to calculate. 2 times your body weight, that's your protein intake. You don't need a massive calculator. So if I weigh 100, I need 200 grams of protein. Divide that by 4, each meal I have, 50 grams of protein. So that's a good way to start. What are some good exercises for a full body workout? Ooh, this is a good one because full body workout can be many things. You could do like your chest, then train your legs. So that's a upper lower full body split. So you could do bench press with lunges. You could then do lat pull down or pull ups with hamstrings. So that's full body, upper lower. You could do upper lower lower. So you go bench press with external rotation or seated row. And then you do walking lunges with hamstring curl. So you do supersets. I like to do supersets because it's more time efficient. Do one exercise, that body part's now fatigued, the other one's rested, go do that one. You could literally do all 4. So for full body workout, if you've got the equipment, body weight, you could be doing I like hamstrings on a bench. So you push heels into a bench, curl up. Then I use that bench to do side oblique hovers. I push my knee into the bench so I get my adductors working as well on my obliques. Then hop off and I'll do like Supermans, get that upper back working, and then into push-ups so that each exercise feeds and helps one another. So yeah, this is a good one. Good question. You can also just do lunges and lat pull down. So it's the way I was just thinking is front, back, back. So if you walked in the gym and you go, what am I doing? You just look at the front of your body, like I'm going to train all this. And the next day, I'm going to train all the back side. So back, glutes, hemis. You can alternate. That's a really good full body split. How can I prevent injury whilst working out? Don't do dumb shit. Build strength, be aware of what you're doing, progressively overload safely, have control of full range of motion, so be able to stop at any point in time, so you're in total control of that. And just avoid pain. How long does it take to see results? What's the goal? How long do you have? Typically, most people, like cardiovascular, you can see improvement within 2 to 4 weeks. Fat loss is about 6 to 8 weeks, and 10 to 12 for muscle growth. But strength can be like instantaneous because it's usually a technical thing. How often should I rest? Rest is relative. Some people are like, don't rest at all. Like I'm doing this from a time management perspective. Like do a task like 60 to 90 minutes, take like a break or 2 hours, and then take a break. Like I realized, shout out to Mary, I've got a lady that works with me. She's do like 6-7 hours straight without a break. And I'm like, I remember doing my first, when I stopped doing so much PT and started doing a lot more on the computer, I remember having a meeting with her. I'm like, how do you do that? She's like, I just do it. I'm like, that's disgusting. And then I'm like, all right, everyone has to work hard for, an hour to 2, and then you have to take like 5-10 minute break, get some water, off you go. There's a lot of people, Polly Waffle, she just likes to suffer. She's a machine. Kate's the same, mentally just tough as bricks. But then it's like, by the end of the day, you're just like wrecked. So taking micro breaks is really good. doing a thing at the moment where it's like I got 3 mini days in one, so it's like 6 to 12, 12 to 6, 6 to 12. So like go at it, max 6 hours, and then it's shift the whole mindset. So yeah, rest is relative. If it's relative to training, so that's lifestyle training. We don't do 7-day programs, so we at least make sure people have 1 day off to fully rest, recover. When it comes to like fat loss, we like to also rest and have a day minimum because we want to reset the body's baseline. So if you're in a fat loss phase and you've hit a plateau, a lot of people will do it for 7 days and they then have a deviation or a cheat day, cheat myth. You're having a planned deviation. You've chosen to deviate from your plan. Like if your metabolism is at 2,000 calories and you're on 1,200, what will happen is your body will adapt to this over time. And this is when people go, I eat this much. And it's like, yeah, but your body is smart. So it is decreased metabolic function. You're retaining less. You're, what was that thing? Like that happens a lot to you, or you're yawning or you're sleeping. So your body finds ways. So we have a rest day to reset you. So we bring your metabolism back up. You eat that much, a little bit more even. And then you go back to that. So you're looking to keep your metabolic rate and function up here. So you're keeping animated and moving rather than slowly declining. Yeah, not ideal. So yeah, once a week, twice is good. Also depends how lean you are too. That plays a part because if you have a leaner body fat percentage, you can actually have more like deviation planned meals and days. But for me, it's only once. How long? So when should I stretch and how often? Stretch compromises strength, so not before training. Usually about 6 to 8 hours after your training session. I usually just do it at nighttime because it's a nice way to wind down and loosen up the body, and then it'll also help with breathing, so I can get more out of it. So, yeah. What's the best diet for my fitness goal? The one that works for you. But if you're wondering, you wanted to ask yourself, well, what would you do? Work out when you wake up, when you go to sleep, do that 7 days a week, and work out when you can eat 3 or 4 meals a day and do the same time every day. Consistency is key on that one. So yeah. How long should I work out for? How long have you got? Usually we recommend people do 60 minutes. There are people that want to do, this is my best pet peeve. So we have an hour workout. Great. Let's put that in 30 minutes. Let's put that 1 hour workout in 30 minutes. Okay. And people do it and they get injured and they wonder why. Because it's a 1 hour workout and you're condensing it to 30. 1 hour into 30 doesn't work. That's like me getting these glasses and going, I'm going to put them in this keyhole and it's going to work. No. All you're doing is you're going, this is a 1 hour workout that manages fatigue so I can maintain my form. And I'm just going to cut all of my rest and lift the same weight and hope for the best. That's what you're doing. And then you wonder why you get injured or something happens. So workout is what's relative to you. If you've got 30 minutes, do a 30-minute workout. Structure it, plan it, give yourself ample time of rest. There you go. Usually a 30-minute workout would be 20 minutes of like building yourself up with the weight. And then you do 2 sets, 5 reps, close to failure, and then you're done. There's actually a German guy. Oh, there's a book on this, but literally there's like 2 exercises that he does. He does squats and he does like this Russian twist movement, which is tough. Yeah, there's the 2 things you do. Then like the next day you do dips, same Russian exercise. Then you pull-ups, same Russian exercise, because it's like really weighted mobility exercise. So yeah, like function, movement, probably not going to be too concerned about building slabs of muscle. Now, if you want to build muscle and you really want to prioritize strength as a collective of a whole, then probably like an hour up to 2 hours. So it really does depend. You know, there'll be people that say, oh, well, I train 30 minutes doing primal movements. Cool. But your goal is very different to someone who maybe needs more time to warm up the fascia, the joints, to lift heavy. I lift up 200 kilos, Carl. You know, you can't say that. You probably have spent time over the years building your foundation. You've probably committed to 90 minutes to 2 hours, or you're doing it for free. And you can now lift 200, and now you just keep practicing the skill and you hold it there. Relative on that one. But again, Fundamental is what can you do? Don't overstress it. Start there. How often should I exercise? I think you should move every single day. But for exercise, we recommend 4 or 5 times a week. So you got 2 rest days. Also, find a lot of people that like careers and businesses, they like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You got Wednesday in the middle of the week. You know, cool. I got the day where I don't have to train. I can just focus on myself. Awesome. Like on this and work. You know, like I train for 2 days. I'm a bit sore, but I'm going to get stuck into it. Cool. And then Thursday, Friday, and then finish the week, and then it's Saturday, which is my day to myself, so I can do a little bit more. I can train arms, my glutes, whatever I really want to do. Like you've got more free reign, and you're like, yeah, no, it's Sunday off. So micro breaks helps people mentally there. What time of the day is best to work out? It is what suits you best. Though Menno Henselman talks about like the peak window is usually when cortisol is its highest, which is usually between like 12 and 4 for people. Some people, so you've got like 3 types of people. You've got like the nomads, the larks, little birds with the little feathers, and owls. So larks, woo, they are up early, 5 a.m., and then nomads, 6, 7, and then owls are like people at 9 or 10. So the peak cortisol time for everyone's a little bit different, but usually midday. But if you've got a lot on and you can't switch off to then focus on form and train, then like myself, I train in the morning, get it done, it's out of the way, look after myself, and then everyone else. How long should my workouts be? Just answer that. As long as they need to be to achieve the result. Do I need to warm up before my workouts? Yes. Short answer. Yeah, yes. I personally, like, there are people that don't. They think it's a waste of time. Okay. Don't ever have a conversation with someone and then go, give me money. You got to warm up the conversation. And other things where I think all of our minds went to. But yeah, warm up helps to prime your body, get it ready to go. Do you need to do all the correctives to help your body? That's where it's like, yes and no. Like you could just do 5 sets of squats, or myself do 10 sets of squats to get your body ready before you start. But if I know underlying there's a deficiency or weakness in my hamstrings, well then maybe I'll just focus on the hamstrings and the weakest link first. So then when I go to do the squat, it's actually easier. I only have to do 5 warm-up sets. So yeah, sometimes you can just do the move, but sometimes take a sniper's approach, go for what you really need to work on. Does lifting weights shorten a person's height? I would like to think so. I would like to think that I am 190 centimeters, and by lifting weights, I am now 176, 1 centimeter taller than Kate. But no, it doesn't. Lifting incorrectly and overloading yourself to hurt yourself, that can compromise your height. I've actually had people get taller by training because you train the right muscles. They actually get longer because everything works in balance. What are some effective exercises for building muscle? All exercises are effective as long as you work close to failure and progressively load it from time to time, and seeing progress in that load can see progress in the muscle mass division and in a providing sufficient amino acids to the body from proteins. You can get incomplete proteins as well, so plant-based protein powders, meats, legumes, beans, a variety of food, and can help you build muscle mass as long as you're tracking your volumes and the loads lifted and not weaned. How many days a week should I be working out to see results? As many as you can. 4 to 5 and 6 preference. And consistently do it and track the data week to week. What is the best way to lose belly fat? Quit your job, don't stress. Midsection is an indication, is usually a cortisol stress site. So people hold more belly fat through that midsection. So managing expectations, decrease the stress in your life, and that will help, whilst improving cardiovascular activity to burn more energy, and weight training will help that too. Sex helps there. But really, like, it's how to lose belly fat. There's 3 ways. 1, decrease the stress in your life and increase the movement. So usually with any diet, it's eat more proteins, grains, vegetables, move more, and in the calorie deficit. So, and then decrease the stress in your body. That can come from 2, increasing the quality of your sleep, pitch black room, supplement with magnesium is my go-to, and just sleep like a baby without the crying. And then 3, check with naturopath, GP, or doctor about gut health, because you could have, or reach out to Kathy when she runs her event in March with us about the microbiome. You could have a compromised gut health. So when you eat certain foods, you actually get bloated and distended. So you probably need to do a gut healing protocol. So yeah, it's a big one, but usually for a lot of people, they have a gut issue. It's why they get super bloated in the midsection. It's not always just stress, but it could be something to help. Or you can get a trampoline and jump up and down it. That'll stimulate lymphatic drainage as well. Oh yeah, and there's a 5th one. You could just genetically naturally store more weight in your midsection. Oh, thanks, Mom. Thanks, Dad. How can I increase my cardiovascular endurance? Build it up each week. Just like weight training, go from 1 kilo to 2 to 3. Start with a 30-minute walk, 40-minute walk, 50-minute walk, 60-minute walk. Then do uphill, 30-minute walk, 50, 60, 30, 40, 50, 60. Then start a light jog twice a week whilst doing the walks up the hill twice a week. Then start to run a bit faster, walk a little bit faster, and just progressively do that, because you'll get better at it over time. And stripping body fat, so you need to be on with nutrition, eating in a caloric deficit will decrease the fat over time. And weight training for your arms, training your biceps, the triceps, so working that extension piece, and then the delts and the shoulders, but also working that back too will bring up those arms nicely. So that are the questions. Just checking comments. No one has posted anything. Marvelous. So that now brings us to the end of the live Q&A. Hope you all enjoyed. If there's any further questions, post below or email info@vitruvianhealth.com.au, and we will see you on the next one next Wednesday. Adios, amigos.